Hey, I'm Elliot Einhorn. Welcome to the Talkhouse Podcast. Today I'm joined by
Nick Dawson, Editor-in-Chief of Talkhouse Film.
Listeners, you might have caught Tuesday's episode, the conversation between Flying Lotus and Terrence Nance. We're dropping two joints on you this week. Today you'll hear two names you might know from Saturday Night Live in conversation, Taran Killam and Kyle Mooney.
This was a talk we recorded live at the flagship Sonos store in Soho. Sadly, you were away for this one, so I took the reins. This conversation was timed to the release of Kyle Mooney's excellent new movie, Brigsby Bear, which he stars in and also co-wrote.
If you're listening on the day we drop this, it's coming out tomorrow, July 28th.
July 28th. I personally really love this movie. It's a film that I saw without knowing a ton about it. What I can say is it's a very sweet, original, kind of quirky comedy about friendship and a love of movies. And yeah, I'd say go in fresh like I did. Let the movie happen to you. You'll really enjoy it. It's one to see with friends, with family, with lovers, mistresses, anybody really.
And he brought in some friends for this. The cast is pretty amazing.
Yeah, in addition to Kyle in the movie, there's Claire Danes, Matt Walsh, Greg Kinnear, Beck Bennett also from SNL, Michaela Watkins, Jane Addams, and even Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself.
Right, and about Mark Hamill, one thing that Kyle says is that Hamill has an encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture. I have to say, I was listening to this talk, and I thought, so do you guys.
They do. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the late 90s boy band Five.
No, I'd never heard of them.
And of course, I've seen Saved by the Bell, but I definitely don't have as thorough a knowledge of that show as these guys do.
Few do, Nick. Or their memory of 80s and 90s pop culture in general. You were telling me earlier that Kyle Mooney has quite the collection of VHS tapes.
Yeah, he has this insane library wall-to-wall in his apartment of just weird stuff that he picked up at yard sales and thrift stores that is very obscure and is completely fascinating to him.
And which does figure in some ways into Brigsby Bear, the movie, of course, being one thing they talk about in this conversation, but they take in so much more.
They do. I mean, I love their conversation about karaoke and their favorite songs.
Oh, God, there are some bad choices in there.
There's some bad choices. But,
really bad choices.
But I love that during a podcast, people just start singing. And there's a lot of singing, and particularly Taran. And of course, earlier this year, he played King George III in Hamilton. And this isn't mentioned, but he actually came straight from a Hamilton softball game and, was there in his Hamilton uniform and then just changed as soon as he reached Sonos.
Nick, there are a lot of people who would pay a lot of money and wait a long fucking time for tickets to a Hamilton softball game.
It's amazing. The songs they sing on second base are just incredible.
Also, finding out about Taran's teen pop star aspirations was pretty hilarious.
No, that's a great story, something that I definitely didn't know about. Also, something that some people don't know about is that Taran Killam is the voice of Nature Cat. And Nature Cat is a PBS show that is my daughter Cordelia's favorite TV show. And as I mentioned that just before we started rolling, it was actually the first thing that Taran and Kyle started talking about.
I still have yet to see Nature Cat.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. It's a great
This
PBS
is an
kids
animated show.
It is.
Is
It's
there a
on PBS.
message?
It's usually in support and discovery of things in nature and about.
Is this a cat
different-
that lives?
He's Fred the house
with,
cat, but when his owners leave, he goes outside and he plays with his group of outdoor adventurers who are also animals.
and it's
Hal,
real.
the dog, and it's all real life.
Great.
This is all based on a true story. It's really interesting, actually. I met the real Nature Cat, and he's sort of like, he's an introvert. You know what I mean? He's a very guarded guy, but he's got some great stories.
Give me a lot of tips on.
Yeah, he's like, he knows leaves like you wouldn't believe. He's like
Great.
crazy for leaves.
I got to see it.
What's up, dude?
Hanging in New York. For
Yeah,
a little
welcome
bit.
back. You
Thanks.
just got back from LA.
Yeah.
I was in LA too. I just got back this morning. I
know,
took the red eye.
Did you come here specifically for this?
No,
You came for
no.
your softball game.
Yeah, well, a combo of things in that when Derek, the reason I was out there was for Drunk History.
Sure.
And Derek asked sort of last second if I could come out, and I said as long as I could be back Thursday because there was already several things sort of
Right.
set up. So,
Well, I'm glad we're here together because
Me too.
I feel like we're similar in the sense that we both hop the coasts or
Yes.
just generally hop around.
And based out of Cali.
Yeah.
Normally you grew up in San Diego.
That's true.
I grew up in Los Angeles County, San Bernardino County, Big Bear, but both Southern California guys. Both went to college in Southern California, USC, me UCLA, rivals. But yeah, a lot of bouncing back and forth, and I think we're fast friends. I think it's fair to say working on the show.
Taran is not only a fast friend, but it was always a very supportive person to me, and I will always appreciate that. When I got on the show, when I got the phone call from Lauren saying that I was going to be coming, Taran was one of the first persons to reach out and leave a voicemail saying how excited you were to hang and to write together, and it was very meaningful.
Yeah, before I was even on the show, I was a Good Neighbor fan. I watched your videos and I was into your steez.
Well, again,
all right. I
guess
you picked the right co-interviewer.
Yeah. It's been really cool.
All right, cool. Thank you guys so much. Purchasono, we use built-ins in our house. We love it. You can hook up Spotify, Pandora, or your own playlist on your Apple or Samsung device, whatever you happen to use. But it's really wonderful and good sound quality.
Yeah, and Sonos are going to say the same thing. If you want to go to check out Sonos.
Now, to switch gears to the purpose of being here, another thing we have in common is that we both kind of got to make movies last summer.
We were making movies at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And we're sharing stories all through sort of development and through getting production happening. I remember even you were very kind to let me read the script when you were like initially having meetings. And you wrote it. What is the name of your co-writer? Remind me.
Kevin Costello.
Yes,
wrote it with me.
And so that's who you're with in China.
Yes. Yeah. And he is somebody I've known. I met in 7th grade at Wagenheim Middle School. If there are any Wildcats out there. Woo! And I pitched it to him probably in the spring of 2013. Incidentally, I got on the show in the summer of 2013, and we kind of were working on it back and forth when I got breaks. Yeah. But yes, I was in Shanghai with Kevin.
Yeah. No, and you kind of covered what I was going to ask, because the movie is very of you to me, and that is only a compliment because I am such a huge fan of yours and have great admiration for how specific you kind of define your own voice comedically. I think before you came to the show, you know your own rhythms, your own delivery, your own tone, and your own themes that are specific to you that you love. And this movie has a ton of nostalgia in it, right? At the core is about nostalgia, especially for like pop culture. And I know that, you're a fan of TGIF, the ABC Friday sitcom lineup, and sitcoms of the 90s era, and kids shows as well. And Brigsby Bear has elements of that, and it seems
absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
was that sort of
have you ever been
impetus?
inside my house? I don't know that you have.
I've never, the one here, the one. Yeah. No, I have not been.
Yeah, no, I
inside.
mean, like now I feel like it's becoming Kyle Mooney trivia to some degree, that I have like a pretty relatively deep VHS collection, and it's mostly children's TV shows from the 80s and 90s. A lot of stuff that we'll pick up at Goodwill or Salvation Army or something, but a lot of stuff that's like educational or religious stuff that will probably never exist on DVD because it was made in such small qualities and the production value so low. But yeah, that's the type of stuff I've always been drawn to, and maybe it's just because I'm a pretty nostalgic person. But I mean, I feel like you're Taran and I try to go to Disneyland once a year together, so I feel like we have maybe similar brains in that way.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll pose this as a question by sort of explaining my relationship with that, is that it just represents a time to me that was carefree and fun and in a lot of ways like stuff that I love. I love Star Wars, and I love a lot of comic book stuff, and I love all sorts of Saturday morning kind of cartoon, Voltron and Thundercats and Disneyland, particularly growing up in Southern California. Yeah. It's a time that was so innocent and carefree and happy, and also sort of the beginning of like dreaming and aspirations of, oh man, I'd love to be involved involved with programs like that. I'd love to create or be on or voice a character or live at Disney, and so for that, it's always kind of like a nice vacation back there of like a really happy feeling that brings me joy.
Totally. Yes, I feel the same way. I feel like I told somebody recently. I feel like Star Wars was the first movie I saw that it made me curious about the movie making process, and like my dad explained, like, oh, it was directed by there was a director, there was a person behind it, named George Lucas. He actually, incidentally, was describing Return of the Jedi, which was not directed by George Lucas, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, like watching cartoons as a kid. For sure, there is something magical about them, and the idea that these were drawings was always so trippy to me.
Yeah, 24 drawings per second. So back to Brigsby Bear, you know that this is a world that from that, how did the story kind of evolve between you and Kevin? I mean, you said you'd pitched it to him as kind of a concept.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the seed of the idea, I'm always like a little weary to not spoil too much.
Yeah.
But the seed of the idea was like a kid who is obsessed with a TV show that's produced by people in his life, basically. Which is already maybe giving too much away. But
I think that's fair.
But that was kind of
the
nugget. And I was just kind of intrigued by that idea, like a person who's the only person who's ever seen a TV show.
Yeah, that was your initial idea.
Yeah.
What I was so impressed, like what I was surprised by and impressed and kind of proud of you. I don't know if that's the right, but is the sentiment in it. You know what I mean? There's always an emotional quality to your comedy, but this really is, as Nick was saying, it's also a love letter to collaboration and to storytelling and to community. I mean, to family by the end of it. And you and Kevin and Dave McCary, your friend and the director of the film, did such a great job with that in particular. Truly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's what we were going for, but also like you're hinting towards the fact that Dave is another dude I've known since I was like 10 years old. Kevin, like I said, I've known since middle school. Beck Bennett is in the film as well, who I met like my second week in college, and Nick Rutherford. So like there is not only this theme of friendship, but I'm in actuality and literally making the movie with my friends. You know what I mean?
There's seemingly some elements of autobiography in it, and that you've always been ambitious and shooting your own things.
That's how I am here.
Yes,
I think is like I just made videos with my friends and we put them on the internet, and then gradually like I started getting work.
Yeah,
and that's definitely exists in the movie. But I'm super happy that people are coming away from it feeling like it's this sweet, heartwarming thing, because it's nice to make people feel good.
Yeah. Well, you did.
Well, I want to do it again.
Well, I don't think you'll have.
And
I
want to make you feel very good right now.
All right. Okay. Well, cut
but
cameras.
We'll save that for later.
We still got time on the clock. So you write the script with Kevin. How was the process of getting the financing, of bringing producers on board, and somebody saying to you, yes, we're definitely going to make this movie? Was that pretty easy? It felt like it happened relatively quickly.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think, we were fortunate in the fact that I was working on the show and that we had some quasi relationships. And I think people were into the script in the sense that it was weird. It's not super weird per se, but it's just different.
It's original, yeah.
Yeah. And so, Lonely Island, their production company, was one of the first groups to come on board to produce, and then Lord and Miller came on as well. And that was like kind of how, that was the beginning of the evolution of it getting made in like, once these names were attached, then like cast, they read the script, they were into it. I think we had a good package, and that was super helpful in terms of everything. But yeah, it's always, I mean, I know you went through this in your film.
Yeah.
Which is like, when you're casting, it's a tough thing where it's like you need money to get people to be in it, but you need people in it to get money, and then also people like drop out. You know, they'll make a commitment to you, and then they won't come through.
Yeah.
With that being said, I mean, like, I can't imagine my movie made without the cast that's there. You know?
Yeah. No, the cast is amazing. Greg Kinnear, yourself, Beck, as you said, Claire Danes,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Matt Walsh, Mark
Yeah.
Hamill, Jane
Michaela
Addams.
Watkins. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. You guys did good. Did you enjoy production? I know you guys we were going to film in the same city at one point because my movie filmed in Vancouver and you guys were going to be there first. And then there's just no crew and you guys switched last second. But once you were shooting, was it enjoyable?
Yeah, Utah. We were in Utah. We were in and around Salt Lake. And the nice thing about it was like none of us are from there. So it was like just kind of like a specific place where it's like, well, we're here just to make a movie. You know what I mean? There were no distractions.
Right.
And truly it was one of the best times of my life. And I think it's because not only we were having so much fun making the movie and we're all friends and we're all getting along, that it felt like if this fails, it's okay because like we had such a good time doing it and we had the opportunity to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, yeah. But you did it and now it's going to be
And
seen by the
now
world.
I'm surrounded by Sonos gear.
Yeah, you're living the dream. It seemed to only grow from there in terms of the good fortune and people responding to it.
It's been nice. Yeah, we've gotten
it. You went to Sundance.
We went to Sundance. We were at Cannes earlier this summer, and I just got back from the Shanghai International Film Festival.
Cool.
Tomorrow
How was
night.
that?
I'm going to say bum.com.
Okay. You can look that up. It is a commercial website, so there might be applicable fees, but
I actually would like to go to the bomb.com website.
Yeah.
I wonder what...
it could be restricted. It could be like a restricted
Like actual
website.
bombs?
Yeah, exactly.
It could also be just like a search engine,
It'll
an Ask
fully be like a
Jeeves.
big, yeah.
Shanghai was cool. Like a lot of... I don't know how you are when you go to like a destination like that, but it was all about food for me, basically.
Sure. Yeah, that's very important.
And
to
we
me.
were like... one of our producers, this guy Al D, who's Chinese, and was kind of taking us to all the hot spots.
Cool.
And I might have had a few beers.
Okay.
Yeah. The boy did it again.
It comes out in July in
Did
theaters.
some karaoke too. Yes.
You did some
July.
karaoke. You did.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, sorry, I'm going to jump back because karaoke is, it's very important to me, and it's kind of a big part of our relationship.
You're a good singer.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to think.
Kind of you. So
I don't know
what
that
is Shanghai?
song.
What is there a book? Is it digital? Because I went to karaoke in Boston in Chinatown, which is I think the closest to your experience. And English was like
in
the sixth,
Chinatown within Boston. is
within
what you're
Boston,
saying. Yeah.
Massachusetts, and English was like the sixth option. And so you had to dig deep to find like, whoomp, there it is.
I'm going to try to describe the environment as best as possible. Though with that being said, like I was in a peculiar state.
Okay. All right. Let's just say there was dim sum and some and some and some.
What do you mean?
That you ate a lot and you were also probably drinking quite a bit.
Oh. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, right? Was that a surprise
It was
to you?
the building we were in was massive.
Yeah.
And like it's all private room, or this place we went to. And literally like at one point we got out of the room and like I was just walking down a corridor and it was like sketchy. It was like a sketchy karaoke place because it just kept on going and there'd be like people smoking. And I was actually very nervous. But the way the songs work, I mean, you were able to type in. It was like a interface.
Got it.
And I think if you were able to choose English, it was actually not that tough. It was either.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
I mean, it's sort of dependent on the situation. I really love New Radicals' "Get What You Give," and Billy Joel, New York State of Mind. But what I like to do, I feel like New Radicals, you're like, and then Billy Joel, New York State of Mind, you're
not as.
okay.
That's why you said it depends on the situation. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting pumped up.
But I like to do. I'd like to think I was the first person to ever do this. Whenever, depending on the city I'm in, I change it. I feel like you may have experienced this, but I guess
I'm in a Shanghai state of mind.
Exactly. Okay. And then I like to throw out some Shanghai references.
Some guys like to get away, go to Hooters in Shanghai.
But then somebody told me, they're like, "Oh, I saw somebody doing that exact same thing you do." So I was.
Damn.
What about you?
Who was traveling the karaoke circuit enough to like overlap with somebody like, oh, somebody was rocking that bit? Because it's obvious it's going to be in your social. It was in your social circle then.
I think it was. I think it was like a friend was at a bar.
Got it.
Where they were doing karaoke. I think it was a stranger.
All right.
But what's your go-to?
Well, where I can really I can bring down the house with Muse's Starlight, but I also love to bring the room together with Oasis's Don't Look Back in Anger.
I feel like that's becoming somewhat of a, and I see again some people nodding.
Yeah. Approval, good approval.
What's the problem with New York State of Mind? It's a true story and love letter to the city.
He's from New Jersey, I think, right? No, that's
I think
Bruce.
You're right.
Is he?
Wait, no, he's
Bruce Springsteen.
Now I'm gonna feel like a dummy.
That's okay. I don't know enough Joel. I always feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's an Elton Joel. I just spoiled the Elton John camp and a Billy Joel camp. That those two. They're like two sides of the same coin, kind of. But like you either have a preference for Elton John or Billy Joel.
Right. Yeah. And my father and his Nissan 300ZX had the Billy Joel Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2 as I made my way through childhood. So I think that was kind of the reason for me being big into him.
Got it.
But I feel like when I don't know how many times we've done karaoke together. I'm going to say 4, 6.
That's it? No.
10.
At least.
I guess I forgot all of the that they're like after
that we do.
The afters.
Yeah.
But I feel like I remember you doing some. Have you done any like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? I feel like I remember like a 90s-esque boy band or something like that.
I love all 90s boy band bands and songs. I was more NSYNC than Backstreet, but I have much love for Backstreet. I liked a 98 Degrees. I liked a 5. Do you remember 5?
Was that with the number
when
5?
The lights go out.
Yeah. All
the word you're not express. Shanghai and tenderness.
Please don't use my thing.
I apologize. I feel like I've seen a few guys do it. But yeah.
You were in a boy band, weren't you?
No, I would have died too.
I don't know why I've created this mythos in my head.
I think I can explain it in that
you were in a Disney Channel
original movie where I played kind of like a boy band pop star guy. Growing up, I would have killed to be in a boy band.
You would have also killed. You would have crushed. I think
I could have been okay because I think there was like a couple stages. There was like when I was maybe 13. I felt like I was pretty young. Like my mom like called into like Capitol Records or whatever and said like my son wants to sing, and so she actually got me an audition to go in for some. I don't know who it was, but and I was in the room and I sang.
The theory being like they're either forming boy bands or it's like an open
to hear
call.
Talent and like connect you and see if package, because like I feel like those boy bands were kind of put together. Like they didn't necessarily find each other organically. Sometimes they did, but
there's a guy that like put
Lou Pearlman.
Lou Pearlman.
Who died in jail, I think.
Well, that's awkward.
Bring it down. But he was also apparently a horrible human being. So
I watched the Backstreet Boys documentary.
I would have done anything to be under the guidance of the horrible crook that is Lou Pearlman.
At that time, sure.
I wanted like MMC. I was really into Kids Incorporated.
I love Kids Incorporated.
That was a big after school television era for me.
Yeah,
those
Kids Incorporated has a very strong alumni.
Yes, Fergie.
Jennifer
at the time Jennifer Love Hewitt. She was just love. Is there somebody else?
Well, Mario
are two.
Lopez actually was a dancer and
get
played drums in the background of
Okay.
Yeah.
Pre-Saved by the Bell?
Also, oh man, see the thing is like I feel bad because I can't. I'm gonna forget these names. Do you know that one song? It's like the Toy Tin Soldiers or something like that. Does anyone know that song? Toy Soldiers.
Toy Soldiers.
Yeah, that
Eminem?
one.
Yeah. So we
Oh no, there's like a
step
song
by
from
step,
the late.
left to right,
Yeah.
and by inch we all fall down.
But that's like a female singer from the
Toy
late 80s,
Soldiers.
and it's a singular
it's
name.
Sample. It's a sample for it. I know it from the Eminem
And
song.
she was
there
also a Kid Incorporated.
I just had like fantasy dreams of just like being on the show and like dating whoever. And there was a girl, I can't remember her name, but she had like very black hair and like bangs, and she always wore like bright lipstick, and I was like in love with her.
I don't remember her name either.
Yeah. But I still see her face. But yeah, but I wanted to. I also remember when NSYNC like first came out, Disney Channel would do like live from Orlando, meet NSYNC concert, and they would do like they'd play 3 songs, and they'd be like it's tearing up my, and they'd do like all the big hits, and then there'd be interludes where you got to like spend time with each band member and watch. And I remember watching it, like meeting all the guys. Lance's was like, I love horseback riding. I love horses, and I love going jet skiing. And I was like, Lance is my dude.
Yeah,
Lance
that's
is my
a
guy.
sick lifestyle.
I mean, if I could give it up now, if I could cash in, ride horses and jet skis, you'd never.
What are you into? Yeah. What are you into?
Horses and jet skis.
Horses, jet skis.
Let's see. On land, riding horses. On water, probably more jet ski guy.
Have you revisited MMC, which is the new Mickey Mouse Club?
Not like clips, like
Yeah, I have as well. But it's
I loved-
fun. It's there are like some really wonderful moments between Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling, who is also on the show. But there's the skits in between the songs they perform are stellar. They're really fun. And like you can't
always
I
a
can't
tight
tell,
premise.
Yeah, exactly.
Super tight premise. Good joke structure.
Yeah. There's one like it's worth checking it out on YouTube. It's a skit involving the girl group Escape.
Escape, yes, with an X, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just Justin and Ryan riffing with them about like how they came up with their name, but
yeah.
it should
kind of writes itself.
That should come out July 28th in the theaters.
Maybe it could be like your Pixar short before Brigsby Bear.
How does that work?
Stay tuned.
Disney, I wonder
the Pixar shorts? Well, it's all like in studio produced content.
And those are computer graphics?
Yeah, so they work on a 3D grid graphic landscape. They're building the models, and that kind of sets the motion of
Okay,
these
but who's
characters.
Luxo Jr.?
Now that's above my pay grade. He's the lamp.
Okay,
He's the lamp that becomes the eye. Duh. I liked the interstitials of MMC that were very serious, like Teen Angel. Do you remember that? Like Teen Angel. They had these like little mini movies, like dramatic series with inside the show that they cut to.
Yeah.
That was big. Remember Fred?
Was he like the adult?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of those shows have that.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't do that on television, add like adults.
Yeah.
I don't know that
All
Kids
that
Incorporated
didn't really.
did.
I don't think Kids Incorporated. Saved by the Bell, obviously, Mr. Belding, and then Max.
Yeah. Saved by the Bell is my favorite TV
That's your
show.
favorite ever.
I think so.
You've obviously, and do you include Miss Good Morning, Mrs. What is
Bliss?
it? Yeah, Miss Bliss.
Yeah, because
Is that canon?
Well, it is, though. This is common knowledge and trivia to people who are fans of the show. In that show, their school was located in like Indiana, and then when it came to NBC,
Zach,
it was moved to
Lisa and Screech. Conceivably moved together. Their 3 families moved.
Well,
together.
no, they just kind of tried to fake it as.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
It was just a creative shift.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Where do you land in the Tory era versus like Kelly Kapowski? Because like, or like Tory kind of took over for Jesse, right? Is that right?
Both Jesse and Kelly were gone.
We're gone, and
Tori
Tori came in.
episodes.
Interesting.
Where do I stand?
Yeah, I will say I wasn't like the biggest Tori fan.
Sure.
She was very aggressive.
Yeah.
She was very hostile. And I don't know that I fully believed the commitment to the character in the first place.
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
What I will say is that as like a probably 8 or 9-year-old kid, like it was definitely like abstract.
Yeah. Well, who's
It's like, well, is nobody going to talk about the fact that Kelly Kapowski is nowhere to be seen?
Yeah.
But do you know the story behind that?
No.
What happened was they had a contract to shoot so many episodes with the entire cast, and the show was like so popular that they asked to do more, and basically Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Elizabeth Berkley were like, no, we're out of it. We're out of this.
Yeah.
So they shot those more episodes. They hired Tori, the person who played Tori.
Yeah.
But they did, within those episodes they shot with Kelly and Jesse, they managed to shoot like the graduation episode.
Got it.
So like as they probably aired live, it would have been like Tori,
That's what it felt like.
Kelly, Jesse.
And then, that they came back.
Yeah.
But Tori
But
was
no
always
mention-
after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And where did the beach Leah Remini series fit into that?
I think that was the season right prior to that, like senior year.
To the last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Were you a college years fan?
You know, at the time, I don't know that I saw every episode, but I have recently revisited, and now I can say I'm a full-on completist.
Yeah.
I've seen every episode of College Years and Wedding in Vegas. I guess I haven't rewatched. There's like a Hawaii
one
trip that I haven't rewatched.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Well, if I congratulate you on anything that's happening in your life, congratulations on that.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
It means you're a fan. It means you're a true
But
fan.
I do like Dave, for instance, who, taking it back to the
To
film,
Brigsby Bear.
the film we
the
made.
film that you made and star in and is wonderful and is out in theaters July 28th.
Yeah.
Is that New York, LA, or is there
Yeah.
other New York, LA, and then we'll
like,
expand afterwards?
Hoping people go to see it. Then
Exciting.
More,
Okay.
more theaters. But yeah, Dave grew up with me, so we can share like Saved by the Bell references, and that's kind of, you know what I mean. There are like little moments that I'll think of, like, oh man, wasn't it crazy? I don't know. There are a lot of, I could go off on a SBTB tangent, truly.
Were there other ones that you liked even half as much?
TV shows generally?
Yeah.
Well, like you said, I meant
Malibu Dreams or City Guys.
California Dreams.
California Dreams. Sorry,
Malibu. I think it was Malibu, California.
Okay.
Something like that.
I apologize.
Malibu. CA.
I apologize.
Yeah, Hang Time, the TNBC lineup.
Yeah.
No, nothing. I mean, I like in theory, I'd watch. I'd try to. I could be into California Dreams.
Yeah. But
I liked it. I mean, I watched it, but I don't know much.
it'll
about
never
it.
be Saved by the Bell.
No.
Favorite episode?
Fuck. I'm gonna say the episode where it's Running Zach, where Zach learns that he has Native American ancestry, and at the same time, this is so crazy. This is crazy to me, and it makes me laugh. Lisa is talking about her ancestry and her family. They were slaves, and Jesse's family were slave owners.
Oh dear.
So like throughout the episode, Jesse is like apologizing to Lisa,
Okay.
and also like
They
Zach.
covered so many topics.
Yeah.
They covered a wide range. But Zach in that episode.
Zach like initially just does like some really weak research into his lineage and does like a very stereotypical like Indian chief presentation.
Yeah.
And his teacher's like, nah, you got to go meet this guy.
Who is the teacher again?
Mrs. Jacker? It was Mrs. Jacker.
This is Jack. He's like, nah, Zach. Zach, you tripping.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But then she introduces him to her friend who's a
Of
part
Native
of,
American descent.
yeah. And
Opens his eyes and his heart probably a little bit by the end of the episode.
that's all very accurate.
Yeah.
That's all true.
Yeah. I don't know that I've seen that one. I always loved like Agatha Christie murder mystery things. So the episode where it's like a murder mystery, I was way into, and I felt like that got a lot of replay.
That one reminds me, because that took place outside of the school.
Right.
The similar ones. There's one like where they're in a mall. I think it's like a 2-parter. They're trying to get U2 tickets.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I don't remember that one. That sounds impressive.
You gotta check out this show.
I gotta see it. I gotta catch up. Speaking of being a fan of things, and speaking of Brigsby Bear, how was it working with Mark Hamill at this point in his career too, where it's like, I mean, obviously he means a lot to me personally.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of thrust back into this universe of Star Wars with the new movies coming out.
Awesome. It was rad. It was the role he plays is this character named Ted, and we wanted somebody who just you wouldn't like think of immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And somebody who could play eccentric, and we also wanted somebody who could potentially do voice work. And so he's a prolific voiceover artist. When he kind of popped in our mind, he was perfect. But it was rad, and it was, like you said, we're fans of those movies, and it was trippy. It's like, it just kind of, it took time to be on set and to be like, kind of
at ease.
Yeah, but also to like bring in the references, kind of in between takes. Like,
yes.
So what was it like?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, he's such a big comedy fan too.
Yeah, he's got a pretty encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture generally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What did you guys have a rap party?
Yes, we did. He didn't. He was gone by then.
Gone. Yeah, you shut him out.
Rap party was good. We did karaoke at the rap party.
Fun. Was it crazy? Was that the craziest night of partying you did while you were out there?
There was a night where we played King's Cup in my hotel room.
Oh, fun. And it went long and went strong.
Yeah. There were certain people that were upset with me the following day.
Okay. Got it. Because of actions that you could like take full responsibility.
Just because with me, just the party doesn't stop.
I hear that. All right. Truth. First-hand experience.
And sometimes people want it to stop.
Yeah. Sometimes very reasonable people who are close to me.
They
want
things to be like turned down.
Like, all right.
Where are you at with Gunther?
It's we're coming out in October theatrically. I think the 22nd. So
you got to work with another icon, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. That was a trip. That was very exciting because he's sort of the villain of our movie. Spoiler alert. And we always kind of wanted to cast it as like a third act reveal because we're chasing him down. He's sort of like this boogeyman. And as soon as he was interested, it kind of changed everything. Only in good ways, but you aren't going to keep that a secret, really.
Sure. Yeah.
Just even from like.
But I knew that going in, and it in some ways it can make it more fun. You know what I mean? Like you're waiting for that moment.
I think so. And now the reveal is not who, but kind of like
how.
What kind of person? How he is involved and how he is and who.
Yeah.
And he was so game. He really. I mean, there was very little that he said no to, and he actually showed up with a lot of ideas and jokes and was such a team player and very respectful and very prepared.
And he's got to be very strong, I would imagine.
He's got just muscles for days. He works out a fair amount.
Did you ever catch him in the act?
Working out? Does
he have a gym on like set?
No. This is really cool. He has worked in Vancouver a few times. The most recent time before our film was for, I think, the most recent Terminator. And he's like, he loved working up there. And he's like, oh, we said, do you want a gym? And he's like, no, the Y is right around the corner. They have a great gym. And he would just go to the Y. He'd wake up in the morning. And I said, I was like, I would love to work out with you. One day I'd love to like come and just like
have him spot you.
Just shred. And unfortunately, I was directing and I was acting in it so I did not have much free time.
But I actually I train at the 24-hour fitness in Hollywood. And my trainer says that he sees Arnold at the Gold's Gym, like the iconic Gold's Gym, like pretty regularly.
Yeah, yeah. He's he's not as, there are some security precautions, but he's pretty accessible. And I think a big part of that is always kind of being a man of the people, you know what I
Sure.
mean? That he's a promoter of himself
Right.
through bodybuilding and very accessible there. And then becoming a movie star, maybe it got different. But then once he got into politics, he's very hands-on. He's very active politically, and he's constantly traveling for different, summits and causes and stuff. And there's a bodybuilding competition in his name now that happens all over the world and on every continent and on every inhabitable continent.
My trainer, I think, competed in it.
Oh, amazing. Oh, cool. How did he
Tony
do?
Tirado.
Tony Tirado. Okay.
He did great.
Awesome. Just getting there is like a win.
Yes.
Just to be accepted.
And he's Mexican, and he represents.
All right. I didn't. No, spin it.
No, he represents. He
Mexico.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. He's got to be very strong. Why your publicists are like freaking out?
Did you just say Mexico?
I feel like because I've never seen a bodybuilding competition where it's like 8 jack dudes and then like one guy who just had the fee. You know what I mean? Who just like, I believe in me. Like you have to be
there is
in
like
dope
a-
shape. There's a
For the Arnold one, there's like some sort of invitational aspect component.
Is there any part of you
That one.
that wants to get in like dope shape has ever like been like, what would it be like to get in like dope shape, like
I don't-
awesome shape?
The way I see it is if like a role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and somebody pays
But no,
for
but
it.
like
and then,
I don't know that I could. I would feel
There's always
weird.
like in being in comedy, you always kind of feel like it would be phony or it would be dishonest in some way. You know, like I wouldn't be authentically me if I suddenly
Yeah.
became. It'd be a visual.
I mean, it would be fun. I would like. At the same time, it would be fun.
I would love to be
For
able
like
to
a
do
year
20
of my
pull-ups
life
easily,
just to be like totally jacked.
yeah. Like a summer. Like I would love to like enjoy my holidays because I always go crazy around the holiday. I
Right.
enjoy them and food is very important. And then like January 2nd, just go, it's on. And then like that first day of summer, just not into it. You're not following me there?
No, that's hot.
Okay, cool.
But what is that song?
It's from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, okay.
It's the
I thought it was,
Phoebe Cates song when
Freestyle, Don't Stop the Rock. Don't know if you know that one, but it's like,
Don't stop the rock, can't stop the rock, you can't stop
it's
the
actually,
rock.
actually,
That one?
it's do 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 do. Or is
That's
that
Push It.
by
That's
Salt
Push
and
It,
Pepper?
yeah.
Now I can't remember the melody. of Don't. That was Don't Stop the Rock, by the way.
Oh, what am I doing?
Axel Foley. No, you're doing.
Are you watching Glow?
I've not started yet, but I will, and I've got some pals who worked on it.
All right,
so
man.
I
It's
need
really
to.
great, and I bring it up just because they in episode 2 they use "Stir It Up," which is maybe my favorite song from Beverly Hills Cop. Is like when he arrives, like doom doom, ba doom boom 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 doom, ba doom 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 doom. I can't do it different no more. Stir it up, got to live it up, shout. If I live by tomorrow, I'm not gonna take it anymore. Ba-doom, boom, 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 boom. Ba-doom, boom, 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 boom. Ba-doom, boom, 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 boom.
Wait, how does the song go?
I don't remember.
I don't remember Stir It Up, to be honest.
You don't remember Stir It Up? If you watch it again, you'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, I'm into that. Would you make another movie?
I would like to, yeah.
Do you have any inkling of what it could be?
I've got two little ideas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But you want to kind of play them close to the vest, obviously?
Yeah, I'm kind of like one of those knock on wood guys. You know what
Yeah?
I mean? Like,
Okay.
I'm very superstitious.
Okay. I didn't know that.
But let's
I don't
just
think
say,
I realized that.
Oh, yeah.
You're very superstitious.
Yeah.
Are there any, at SNL, are there any show rituals that you have, like on tape night?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. How did Brigsby Bear happen outside of the show? Did you pitch it first to Broadway and then?
I did.
Yeah.
And
they said go with Grace and we
Yeah.
support you and yeah.
I mean, like, I guess, which it turned out rad because that's how Lonely Island and Lord and Miller got involved.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure one could make the argument that it's not a specifically Saturday Night Live movie.
Sure. Yeah. No. It feels very much like a Kyle Mooney movie, like a Kyle Mooney, Dave McCary movie.
Cool.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing many more.
What about you?
I do. I kind of know. I said earlier I love like sort of murder mysteries, so I'd love to do
Oh, yeah.
a little sort of. I have an idea for comedic. Sort of. I love The Thin. Do you know The Thin Man? Do you know those movies? That franchise. I love that. I love. It's sort of like Screwball, but he and his wife are a comedic relationship, but they're very grounded, and everybody around them are very heightened characters.
Got
So something in that vein, I'd really like to do.
Have you
But
seen, I want to say it's Murder by Death?
Yes, very much so. You ever made it with a fat waitress? You remember that line? Peter Falk? He's basically playing like Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
He's like, and he's talking to, I think, the character who's supposed to be like the thin man. And he's like, you ever made it with a fat waitress? And he's
You
like,
do a good
no,
Falk.
I don't really. Bill does like maybe the best ever. Have you seen his?
I have. I mean, yeah, not in recent memory, but
Yeah.
I have.
Anyway, he's like,
I love Peter Falk.
You've never had good sex until you've done it with a big waitress. And that always made me laugh and still kind of does.
I've only seen it once, but it seems like you've seen
I've
it.
seen it a few times.
Yeah.
Because I love they are spoofing Maltese Falcon and they're spoofing The Thin Man and they're spoofing Charlie Chan mysteries,
Yeah.
which are like horribly offensive now.
Right.
But growing up, they were like available at the library, so we would like rent those, and there's a big franchise there. And I just always liked the whodunit, which has kind of become TV shows a little bit, you know what I mean? Like Law and Order
Sure.
changed the whodunit into an episodic thing. But I still think it can be done in a narrative film with engaging characters. I think that would be the
Yeah, well,
goal.
if you want me to pitch any jokes or anything.
You want to do some punch-ups for me?
Yeah, I'm
That'd be
down.
tight. That'd be tight. I think the world of you. I enjoy hanging out with you. I look forward to our Disneyland trip this coming summer, hopefully.
I feel the same way. I love you very much, brother.
I'm proud of you. Brigsby Bear is fantastic. It's
Thanks,
like
Taran.
hilarious and beautiful, and I hope everybody who hears and sees this goes and watches that film.
And support independent filmmaking.
Yeah, exactly right. It's
And-
in some ways the future, because it's either big budget superhero franchise blockbusters or you kind of got to do it grassroots, which we did.
Thank you to Sonos for supporting independent podcasting.
And thanks to Kyle and Taran for taking part in the podcast.
Listeners, thanks for listening. If you're one of those obsessive Hamilton fans that checks out everything the actors do and you came to us that way, you've got to listen to our episode with Hamilton himself, Javier Munoz, in conversation with John Cameron Mitchell.
And if you are an SNL fanatic, of course, go back and check out A.D. Bryant with Jesse Klein and Vanessa Bayer with her brother, Jonah Bayer.
And if you just happen to have come to us through our own podcast, you listen regularly, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, rate and review us. Every time you do, help someone else find the podcast.
Come find us on Facebook.
Check out our Instagram where you can see pictures of this talk and all the rest.
Hit us up on Twitter.
And check us out on YouTube where you can see this talk in its entirety and get exclusive clips from many others. I'm Elia Einhorn.
I'm Nick Dawson. And just before we go, I have to say, the person that Kyle was trying to think of is Martika. What better way to end this podcast?
Bye.
Bye.
Nick, what's happening right now?